Time to talk Thanksgiving hoops in the upstate. And we back. Welcome back to the second season of the Get Buckets podcast, powered by Hardwood and Basketball. I'm your host, Musa Marathi. Now, over this past week, I've been able to watch several teams throughout the county play in several different Thanksgiving tournaments. And I'll just be talking about a few of the teams I was able to watch, starting off with Christchurch versus TR. Now, this game was very close at the start. It was back and forth at the beginning, but it was somewhere, I believe, in the second quarter where Christchurch just started taking that commanding lead. And by the end of the game, you looked at the scoreboard and they're up 20 points. I feel like as long as DJ Harvey, who ended up winning MVP in this tournament, was on the court, I feel like they always have a chance to win. Jack Fagan, who I've been talking about since this summer, he was a flamethrower. And at one point, I believe he hit like 3 threes back-to-back and gave them that momentum. I believe TR can really be a good team this season, and I don't think this game is going to depict how their season will go overall. But I feel like they just need a little bit of an identity check. Obviously, last year had Caleb Mills, but they still have really good players. They have guys like Ryder Stauffer, Jake Earl, Drew McKibben, who actually got hurt in this game, so that obviously didn't help. They have point guard Ja Wiggins. I just think they need, a little identity check, but obviously really early in the season. And this was last Sunday. I would have to go back and check how they did the rest of the week. But, this was definitely a good game from Christchurch and a good way to start off their season. Next, I want to talk about Wren versus Cardinal Newman. Obviously, Cardinal Newman's not in the county, but Wren, very close by. And I only watched until halftime. I did see Cardinal Newman ended up winning. But from what I watched, Wren moves the ball very well, and they make the small plays. Obviously, Rhett Warga, very good at taking charges. He showed that while I was there. I saw a few charges that he took. Really puts his body on the line for the team. But really good ball movement from Wren. I'm glad to see what they got going on over there, although it did come out in a loss. And I believe that's because of several reasons, being Cardinal Newman was being very aggressive. Guys like Jeremiah Peoples and Amari King, who actually recently transferred from Keenan, who I didn't even know until I watched them play. But definitely a big addition. He's always playing hard. And Jeremiah Peoples is just a steadfast guard, able to score the ball at a very solid rate. And, yeah, I think they were just a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end. And Cardinal Newman ended up coming out with the win on this one. Then we move on to Monday, where I was able to watch Eastside versus Southside. I believe this was just a regular season game for them, but Eastside was able to win by 20, but it was far from what I believe the final score showed. Southside was competing throughout. I mean, I got there, I think, late second quarter, and they were competing. They got, obviously, Jaden Johnson, who went off for 31 points this game from Southside. And I don't believe I got to see him score a whole bunch, so I believe he must have went off in the first few quarters. But great game from Jaden. I said he was going to break out this season, and he obviously showed it. And Justin Ray goes for 25, and he looked happy out there. He looked comfortable, making the moves that I believe he can do all season. And it was just a good, dominating performance, especially near the end for Eastside. It took a big lead, and they were able to get their subs in. And I believe this was an early showing of what Eastside can show, and they really, I believe, were able to dominate from just the overall experience that they had and from the maturity that they have. And obviously Southside not having as much veterans on the team besides Shaquem, but great fight for Southside, but Eastside with the win. Moving on. Also last thing I want to mention, Destin Eckelberger from Berea also had 31 points on this same day on Monday against Woodmont. Didn't come out with the win, but wanted to shout him out here on the pod. Moving on to Eastside versus Woodmont. This game actually came on Wednesday, where it was a great game, man. Eastside started off with the lead at the beginning. I got there in the first quarter, and I mean, Eastside started off with the lead, was looking real solid. I liked the way that Matt Roberts was finding his spots. But the main thing that, I could even notice at the beginning was the aggression of the Woodmont guards on the defensive end. Having guys like Dre Huff, Drake Stewart, and transfer Kamari Spurgeon, they're gonna all sit, and I like the aggression they had on defense because it ended up leading to easy buckets on offense, which in turn gave them the lead. I also want to just shout out Trey Bryan. I feel like he really was an aggressor on the rebounds and played bigger than he was, obviously coming off of the football season. I also talked to a few of the guys from Woodmont that surprised me. I believe his name was Austin, and I think an underclassman, but he made a few very key threes throughout the game. And one thing that really stuck out, I believe Woodmont only held Justin to 9 points. And this is a very big change from last year where this man was dropping like 40 on them twice in the season. So to only hold him to 9 this game was huge. A few things I just want to see more. I want to see DJ Kelly shoot the ball a little bit more. And I'm not even saying shoot the ball. I want to see him be more aggressive on the offensive end because I feel like he can do a lot more than what obviously being a facilitator is his job. But I think he can do even more. Shoot. I mean, he's a solid shooter, and I just want to see him shoot the ball a little bit more and be a little bit more aggressive. Matthew Roberts and Hunter Wall, I believe they had a solid game, played their role. Matthew hit shots. Hunter got, his consistent and ones. But very good win for Woodmont, and I know they had to be feeling good about this one. Forgot to mention this. I wasn't at this game, but, Justin Ray having 36 points in 18 minutes, just thought I'd mention it. I mean, I know Wade Hampton is having a down season, but, just crazy. I mean, regardless of who they're playing, 36 points in any game, especially with limited minutes, just wanted to shout him out for that. Next, I went all the way down to Erskine to watch Brazier versus Dixie in the Dixie Thanksgiving tournament. It was a championship. These are both 1A schools, very small schools, but definitely a different scene than the Eastside Woodmont game. But it was still fun to watch. At first Dixie came out dominating Brazier, but Brazier fought all the way back, and they even sent the game into overtime. And really, Brazier should have won this game. I want to shout out Sam Hagan for hitting a three near the end to put Brazier up 3, which was then equaled out by Jaron Byers, who hit a 3 of his own in the corner with like 1 second left, sending the game into overtime where Dixie was able to pull out the win. This was a very interesting game. I've never actually seen Dixie play, know a few of the guys on the team, but I also want to say, shout out senior Caden Stoll. He probably had about 20 for Dixie, and he shot the ball very well. And if it wasn't for the aggression of Nick Madison and Andrew Hutchins from Brazier, Dixie probably would have really just started killing this game. Also want to say Ridge Bryson from Brazier. He had a big game, 18 points in his first week on varsity at Brazier. So this was a very fun game to watch. I believe Brazier's going to bounce back this week, and a great win for Dixie in their own tournament, was able to come out with the championship. Next, I'll be moving to my last game I watched this week, being Hillcrest versus Riverside in the championship game at the Hillcrest Thanksgiving tournament. And, at first, obviously, I was going to be like, I was thinking already Riverside probably had their number, but Hillcrest kept it relatively competitive at first. Riverside has scores, and I noticed that throughout the game. It's not just Julian who's going to get buckets. They got Rylan. They got Drew who can shoot. Jack Sauer plays a role and just plays he hits open shots, and he likes to take charges. That's one thing I really noticed. He likes to take charges, and they're going to be very solid. And I believe they're going to be solid because they're consistent. There was no exact drop-off, I feel like, throughout the game for Riverside. They were steady throughout, and it was just a solid game for them. Hillcrest, on the other hand, I feel like their defense could have been better at the beginning. They kept fouling, which sent Riverside to the line. Riverside kept hitting their they did miss a few free throws, but still sending them to the line and going 1 for 2. It was just easy buckets for Riverside. And the main thing I just want to say is, I talked to Caden already about it, is this man could not be stopped from the mid-range. I feel like he went 4 for 4 from the mid-range, but, he kept trying to change it up, maybe shoot a 3, get to the rim here or there. And I was just saying, like, why switch it up if it's working, I feel like he's their main consistent scoring option. I do want to shout out Trey, though. Trey, just a sophomore from Hillcrest, came out the game, right at the beginning of the game, hit 2 threes, and that's huge for them. And I know He's always ready to shoot, but I feel like Caden is still their most consistent scorer, and I feel like he can be even more consistent if he just gets to his spots early and often. But I believe Riverside's going to have a really good season and came out with 2 big wins in the Thanksgiving tournament, both by, I believe, 20 points. So great start for Riverside. And, best of luck to Hillcrest, man. I mean, they got the 3-point dub against Easley the day before. Want to congratulate them on that. And, I believe Hillcrest is going to be very good when they play with energy. And I believe they can still have a solid season regardless. But with all that being said, that will conclude my Thanksgiving talk for this year. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving break and got to spend time with their families. But until next time, peace and best of luck in this week's games.